We've got to make a peaceful, honest, honourable stand to the best of our ability to stop this going on.
And now, please welcome the Dark City Radio Resistance News Crew.
Hey, how you doing, everyone? Welcome to this week's Resistance News, and I hope you're all having really good weather like we're having here. It's been the best weather, best highest temperatures for 7 years, so yeah, everyone's enjoying it, and it looks like we've got a while for it to continue as well. So yeah, enjoy it. I hope everyone is. We have Chris Sparky in the newsroom. How you doing, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. It is lovely weather, isn't it? It helps the resistance to the supermarkets, this weather. My vegetable patch is coming on a treat, so yeah, that's my main bit of activism with this weather.
Yeah, nature loves it. And Paul's here as well, I think, or are you the intrepid producer tonight, Paul?
Well, if I don't answer you, it'll be rude now, Bob. I'm here, mate. I'm here.
Cool. Well, it's good to be chatting with you too. Anyway, it'd be good to chat with some of you guys out there. It's pretty rare that people come and join us, but if you do, you can Skype us on Bob's Backyard or landline us if you're in the UK, 0161 298 0298, or if you're overseas, +44 161 298 0298. Well, this week the topic's corporations being assisted to run amok. There's several items that have made me think a few times about things. One of which, I'll just dig out the article now and read from it, was the minutes of a meeting in the Kremlin where Putin was chatting with one of his cabinets, and it was suggested by him that the Kremlin feel that the bee apocalypse that's happening due to neonicotinoids and various other habitat atrocities created by Monsanto, Syngenta and the like. The Kremlin warns that it will most certainly lead to world war. Now, on the face of it, that sounds really sensationalist and The Sun or Daily Mirror type stuff, but it was researched a little bit, and it is more to do with the way the US government is kind of giving these companies a license to do what they're doing by taking away any responsibility that they should have to people and the environment. There is what is commonly called the Monsanto Act, which clearly takes away any culpability that Monsanto have in contaminating surrounding fields or contaminating water courses with harmful pesticide runoffs, contaminating other farmed animals with quite toxic chemicals which have proven to be pretty much fatal in laboratory tests on other animals. So I don't know what sort of view you have on that, Chris.
Well, we've heard it many times about the bees, haven't we? That as soon as the bees are gone, that's practically it for the food supply. And yeah, I can see the sense in it. Without the pollinators, our plants don't work, and then there will be food shortages and a food war. Yeah, so I can see exactly what they mean, that it could lead to world war.
Well, it's a pretty serious state of affairs when it's laid out in terms like that. And I mean, quite frankly, it would be kind of bizarre sort of war, because there's a huge number of people in the US and particularly in Europe who are very anti these biotech companies and their products. If Eastern Bloc countries declared war, it'd be kind of weird. How would they sort out who was supporting the downfall of these companies and who wasn't?
Well, I'm sure by the time it leads to war, everyone will have forgotten about the bees, that it's the cause of it, and there'll be different reasons to choose sides. It won't be, how the public forget so easily, forget yesterday's headline. There'll be different reasons they'll put out. They'll wind the public up in certain nations, in certain ways, like they always do. And hopefully, if we can get the message out to switch off your televisions and research, take a different mode of research, then maybe we can stop people being victim of this mind manipulation.
Well, I'm just sort of continuing to read sort of through this article, and it's quite staggering, the negatives against these biotech companies in terms of their impact on the environment and people too. I mean, it's not, of course, just bees that are affected by these chemicals. I mean, if a bird eats just a tenth of a kernel of wheat or a seed of wheat, then it is affecting its breeding processes. If a bird eats one kernel of corn, that's it, end of story. It's quite massively systemic through the whole system. It's not just the bees that we're going to lose. It's every other form of pollinator. I mean, how's it been with pollinators out in your yard, Chris?
Well, obviously I've worked hard to get them here. I've let a lot of the flowers, a lot of the plants go to flower, and not just pick them straight away. I've got rocket, which I've left half of it to go to flower, and a few radishes. I've got bees and bumblebees and bees and butterflies. They all seem to be okay at the moment, but I have got a nice pond in the garden and some flowers to attract everything. So yeah, I think if everyone just got off their arse and chucked a few seeds in their garden, we could beat this.
Well, I mean, that's all very well. I mean, it's the damage that it's doing in open countryside, I think, is more of a concern. I mean, I've no doubt a few people that live around you that use Roundup, but it's more the damage that's being done in this attitude towards having a monoculture as being the most productive form of farming. And it's there where the birds are disappearing and the insects are going and the soil's becoming sterile and I mean, it's just becoming devoid of life because of this.
I think it's a control issue. As humans, we do think we are in control and we think we can control nature, and when a weed pops up, we do believe there's a product for it on sale on the shelf, rather than looking to nature for the solution. And you speak to, as an organic gardener myself, I speak to so many traditional gardeners who just use the weed killers and the slug pellets, and there's no getting through to them. There is no getting through to them. They won't take it seriously, because it seems to have been buffed up in the news that, you know, we're all a bit, the organic farming is all a bit difficult and all a bit crackpot. So, you know, I don't think people take it seriously enough, and I don't think they realise how easy it is. It's a damn sight more easier than using the pesticides and the slug pellets and all the nasties. Organic gardening is very easy, and you've only got to set it up and it works itself. You don't have to maintain it then, just water.
Well, I think slugs might be a little bit more complicated than that.
As long as you know where they are. You don't have to kill them. You've only got to have a comfrey plant in your garden, you know where they are. Or an upside down bucket. You can sort them out. You don't have to poison them.
Oh no, not at all. But, you know, they're good eating for other animals as well, so...
Yeah. And you can supply those animals with a big bunch of them if you collect them.
Absolutely. No, this is, you know, one of the solutions that I much prefer.
But it's knowing that we are a part of it ourselves as well. And without us, I don't think nature would function properly. Nature needs us. We are nature. But nature needs us to... I
think nature would function perfectly without us.
I think, well, to be honest, I think it's grown up with us, not in the last 100 years. Before then, it's got used to us. Picking the apples, spitting the seeds out 10 yards away. And I do believe it relies on us now. That's just my opinion.
Well, I think there's quite a few millions of years of us not being here in any way, shape or form, and everything was happening quite okay. I mean, I'm pretty certain that half the reason that we've evolved the way we are is to be a guardian species. Try and...
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Bring about the best that the planet has to offer for everything. And yeah, it just sort of strikes me that, you know, these corporations like Monsanto, going back to the article again, are supported by their own government in ways that all the rest of us aren't. In fact, it's a direct threat to all the rest of us that the culpability of these corporations is protected or taken away.
Well, see, our habits are a direct threat to their profit.
Well, yeah, there is that, but it's more than that, isn't it? I mean, the government itself are there to govern in our best interests.
Allegedly.
There's no other reason than that.
That's the fairy tale they would like us to believe. But it's just simply not true. We are the enemy.
Well, that being the case that it isn't true, then, you know, I think that all of us are within our right to withdraw our consent, because clearly these companies are harming life. And
yeah, the only way.
In a very fundamental way.
Yeah, we can withdraw consent. We can withdraw our consent. We can overgrow the government. It is up to us. I'm just waiting for other people to do it. I've done all what I can myself. I've taken all the advice, and I can't tell anyone else what to do. They have to find it for themselves. They have to realise. And it's, will they realise in time?
Well, this is part of what Resistance News is about. It is finding the things that need resistance and trying to sort out some sort of solution that will resolve it. And given that the US government is so hell bent on supporting corporations that clearly, let's just assume they are profit-led, and there's nothing more devious than that. All they want to do is to control the food because they'll make shed loads of money out of it. The fact that all the safeguards are taken away to enable them to be able to do that is in nobody's best interest. How can a government support it?
They are conspiring against the consumer.
But it's deeper than that, isn't it? Because as the general public, we're not the consumer, we're the beneficiary. That's a whole different ballgame. We trust them, the power that's given to them to govern in our best interest. And it's a trust thing.
I think they're hoping we've forgotten that. And most of us have.
Well, maybe we just need to get the word out there again that, if you can't trust them, they're failing, you've got no reason to do anything that they ask of you. Yeah. Is the bottom line.
Don't accept the benefits would be my advice. Stand on your own 2 feet as much as you can. As much as you possibly can. It's not easy changing your lifestyle, but it is very rewarding once it's done.
You see, it is quite easy to be happy with a lot less than a large number of people have. I think I've pretty much cut mine down to the bone now. I'm not prepared to give up my ciders.
But without all those distractions, it does give you time to think and remember even more who you are. It gives you peace and quiet time. You can remember who you are and your purpose here.
Yeah, that's a good thought. I just found in the article, it was a single corn kernel coated with a neonicotinoid can kill a songbird. It's just...
Why are they putting nicotine on plants?
To prevent insect infestation. But
sure, it's going to get addicted to it.
Well, they say it's just coated to the seed, but it actually goes right through the plant, including into any flowers and pollen and all the rest of it. So it's, it becomes endemic in that plant, and it also, shows up in the human digestive systems now.
So I'm presuming they've taken a leaf, excuse the pun, a leaf from the nicotine plant's behaviour, and I presume the nicotine plant does repel other insects, and they've taken advice from that plant and taken a gene and spliced it into the corn, or sprayed it on.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But it's, causing a lot of damage. A huge amount of damage.
You've only got to look at the damage smoking nicotine causes, or allegedly causes. And the government acknowledge that every day with advertising on the packs. So how the hell they can let nicotine.
No, it's not the nicotine that causes all of that. Nicotine is highly addictive and affects the nervous system. It's all the other shit that they put with it, flavour enhancers, anti-drying agents, etc., 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 that cause or are thought to cause cancers. And it's the nicotine that is highly addictive and keeps you wanting to smoke it. But after 4 days, the actual nicotine addiction stops. And after 6 days, you shouldn't have that sort of nicotine craving anymore. It's just the habitual psychological attachment to smoking that's then hard to get rid of.
Well, there is one upside to this story, and that it brings us back to Rick Simpson again.
In terms of,
it helps cancer sufferers, and it can relieve addictions. And the way it can destroy the governments who are letting all this shit go on.
Can you destroy the governments? You know, I mean, is that a sensible way forward? I mean, it strikes me.
Maybe I was a bit rash in saying destroy. At least give us a tool to fight for our own health.
Well, I think we all do have the tool, and it goes back to what I was saying before, and that is that, you know, if you're the beneficiary and you're not being benefited directly by the government, you've every right to withdraw your consent. And that has to be the ultimate tool.
So how do we withdraw consent on it? In what fashion?
Well, you just don't cooperate with it anymore.
Well, as in not buy it, not purchase it, not consume it?
Well, no, I mean, everyone's still got to stay alive, but you don't contribute in terms of taxation where it's feasible not to. I mean, obviously, certain products have VAT on, but it's not hard to research what doesn't on the internet and try and just buy VAT-free foodstuffs.
Yeah, that's a good one.
There is a big list.
That's a good one. So how else are we being run amok over?
I'll just chip in there with that, Bob. You're quite right about VAT and looking for things that have, you know, less tax on them. But how do we get away from the fuel charge of the distribution of those goods? The tax on fuel is enormous. The majority of that goes to, so, you know, I've looked at it a few times. There doesn't seem to be, I know you're saying we've got the tools to do the job, but all those tools we seem to be able to get our hands on, kind of are the work of paying these as much governments, like Chris says, bring the government down. But what Rick's presenting will actually smash the economical grip the banks have had over people, without a doubt. You know, just in prescription charge alone, on one, what do they call it? You spray under your tongue like a mister. A saving of the sativa. It's not a topical. There's a name for them, isn't there, when they're put into those bottles?
Oral.
Is it oral spray? Yeah. And when placed into an oral spray, for every single bottle which is produced, would save the government £110 minimum. Well, not the government, of course. So yeah, on that level alone, it's a massive hit to the pharmaceuticals. It's an enormous hit to the petrochemical companies. And if we don't need to trade in the fiat currencies, if we could use medicine and such things as a currency, you know, because I'd sooner trade in something that is life-giving and supportive which is usable, totally biodegradable, and has no undue side effects, or creates no undue waste. The only waste that is created is organic fertilizer. So, for me, I don't honestly think the tools are available. There may be a small few pockets of people kicking around who've maybe been able to achieve massive steps forward, but without us coming together and those groups forming, then, I don't see how we've got the tools. I really don't. Not without actually supporting the very corporate systems we're trying to stand in.
For me, it's been an incremental process, if you like. It started with, okay, well, I don't want to support them, so what can I avoid VAT on easily? How does that work? How does that fit with me? And the things that aren't so easy, how can I pick those off? Obviously, with supermarket produce, there is quite a high percentage of the value of that is transportation. If you can, shop local with farmers, obviously you're going to cut a big chunk of that out. But it is difficult. It's not easy, I wasn't, trying to say that it would be, but I think once you take the decision to just say, no, I'm not cooperating, then bit by bit, you do find ways of making it an action that is of value, and also one that's carried out in a peaceful, non-confrontational and jokey sort of manner, if you like. It's good to have a laugh with people if they come to your door, if they can brave the notices.
You're dead right, Bob. Once you get on the path of finding alternatives, you find that you wake up in the morning, you find a new alternative, and it just makes you smile. And then you implement it, and then you look for the next one, and the grin just gets bigger and bigger.
Absolutely, and of course, if people do ask, which on occasion they do, you've got, hey, look, I did this, and this. Check it out. Don't believe anything I say.
Yeah,
it's all there.
And how much more? That's so much more effective than just telling people. Actually doing it and showing people, showing your friends and your people in your local community. You've got a lot of people at the moment telling people how to do stuff and not doing it themselves. I'm sure everyone can relate to that. There's a lot of activity done from the armchair, and it's not good enough unless that's all you can do. I mean, that's all some people can do. Some people do have disabilities where they can't get out and do their garden, but the majority of people I've met don't have that excuse, and they're doing everything to avoid actually doing something themselves, and no one's going to take them seriously until they change their own habits.
Well, that's absolutely it, and people change in their own time as well. I mean, if everyone's suddenly all got it all at once, I think the planet would be in trouble as far as people were concerned. Yeah, it would just be, unbelievable. Yeah, humanity wouldn't be able to tolerate that change.
No, reality doesn't change that quickly.
No, that's exactly it.
But
anyway,
if people walk the talk, we may get some more results.
I think more and more are, which is good. So perhaps we can just think on that for a 5-minute, let's get the kettle on break.
Yeah.
See, we'll be back in 5. Have a good one.
can talk over it if you want to.
I tried to fly a while so high, direction sky. I tried to fly a while so high, direction sky. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. Rise up, but my wind shaking wane. Rise up, makes me feel pain. 'Cause I like to fly a while so high, direction sky. 'Cause I like to fly a while so high, direction sky. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. We'll beat again. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. For my mind and my brain. 'Cause I tried to fly a while so high, direction sky. I tried to fly so high, direction sky. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high. My dream is to fly over the rainbow so high.
They said we could not do it. They said it wasn't possible. But we did it. We created a free radio station to bring the people together and spread an alternative message from the mainstream. They tried to silence us. They tried to hack us. But we carried on. You cannot silence the truth. You cannot enslave freedom. You cannot stop a good idea. You cannot stop Dark City Radio. The crew is now eager and stronger than ever before. We will not be kept off the airwaves. We will continue. This is not our radio. This is your radio. This is Dark City Radio.
This is your Dark City. This is your Dark City.
This is your Dark City.
This is your Dark City. This is your Dark City.
This is your Dark City Radio.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Resistance News. I think Bob's just on his way back from having a ciggy in the garden. You there, Bob?
Yeah, I couldn't get the mic to unmute.
Ah, right.
Anyway, I hope you had enjoyed the music break, and well, I don't know whether you would have stuck the kettle on. If you're like me, you probably would have got a cold one out the fridge. Anyway, right, part 2. We're still on the corporations being assisted in running amok, and it seems that we're entering really dark days, particularly here in the UK. The government has released its new guidelines on shale gas extraction, and there was no consultation on this document, purely because it would slow down the exploitation of this resource. In other words, you know, the government wants it to happen quickly. And just to repeat that, there was no consultation on this document, and it's being imposed on us. You know, can you believe that?
So they haven't sought any form of consent?
No, it's just being and you know, this
they're in the shit then.
Well, it's not that so much as they're just trying to, you know, bend legislation to the point where if they say it's going to happen, it is, and it takes away any form of objection that any of the rest of us might have. Now, you know, let's get back to thinking on this trust thing. You know, the government should be doing everything in our best interests, and if, you know, fracking clearly isn't in the interest of us or our environment, it's been proven again and again and again, and even though it might only be a 7% failure rate, when you're talking of thousands of wells, that's a huge number of failures in terms of numbers. You know, it could be 70, it could be 140 failures, all emitting methane, if not into the water table, into the atmosphere.
The problem is once it's failed, that's it. There is no going back. It's failed. The water course is then polluted.
Yeah, once it's out, it's out. You know, it's how do you put the genie back in the bottle?
You don't. Which is okay if you could afford to live off bottled water for the rest of your lives. But unfortunately, there's a certain part of society that rely on tap water, that can't afford bottled water. And we shouldn't have to afford bottled water.
Well, the thing is, where would you get the bottled water from? You know, if the whole of the shale bed that runs from Lancashire right down through the Midlands, and then another one that runs from East Sussex right through to, you know, almost the Dorset-Devon border. And particularly here in our part of Dorset, we have our own aquifer which our drinking water comes out of. It's not transported from anywhere else. If that gets polluted, suddenly they got to put in a whole bunch of infrastructure to transport it from somewhere else. And where's that going to be?
God knows. There'll be new solutions pop up on how to clean our water, I presume. But this is George Osborne's father-in-law, who is a lobbyist for fracking and for who supports Quadrilla.
Yeah, isn't it?
So where is he going to get his drinking water from for his family? Is there any conscience there at all? Do they even live in this country?
Well, don't forget, they're only going to be told the positive, the good bits. You're going to make loads of money out of it. They're never going to get the whole story.
Do you think they don't know the dangers? Do you think the dangers are being hidden and they don't realise the dangers?
I think that they're prepared to skate over the surface on it in terms of it being a small chance. They're not able to compute, a 1% chance over thousands of wells. When you multiply it up, 1% becomes a huge number.
The reward is greater than the risk for them.
Well, yeah. I mean, particularly, one of the, what's the best way to put it? Little sugar-coated sweets that the government has arranged for unconventional gas extraction in the UK is to reduce the production income tax, which for conventional oil and gas extraction is currently 62%, and they're going to reduce that to 30%.
So did they do any reductions like that on solar or wind power? Do you know?
No. I mean, they did do the, what do they call it? Where you have the solar panels and the electric goes straight back to the national grid.
The feed-in tariff.
That's it. I was thinking it.
On being an electrician myself, I saw that from both sides. An electrician and an activist. I saw it from both sides, and it was a con right from the start.
Well, of course it is, yeah, because soon as stuff goes into the national grid for transmission, it loses 80% of the energy.
So many people invested in things that are going to make money. They invested through greed, I'll have you know. People invested through greed, and it bit them in the arse.
Well,
to make money out of their money.
And getting back to these sweeteners, the government presumably will be funding, has suggested that communities near fracking sites will receive from the operators at least £100,000 per gas well. Now, I don't know whether that means the actual pad or per hole. I mean, bearing in mind that they can have, I think the latest was about 16 wells on one well pad. Somehow I think that they won't receive that much. But also that's during the exploration phase, and that the local community is to receive no less than 1% of the overall revenues.
It's lies.
From those well pads.
It's lies.
This is a directive from the government and is absolutely for getting communities to turn against themselves in terms of money.
But it's lies. They will not receive it.
Well, that remains to be seen. I mean, let's hope that they won't receive it because there won't be any fracking.
Yeah, but for people to be tempted by something like that, they should realise everything else the government offers them is a barefaced fucking lie. It always has been. Nothing gets paid out on the big corporations to the people. It's all lies.
Well, it does seem to, be being shown again and again that this is the case. I still think that people in the main don't realise it's going on, to be honest.
No, they don't. But they don't see it on EastEnders or Coronation Street. But there's no reason why they would know.
Well, all we can do is keep putting it out there, isn't it? And hopefully bit by bit
Yeah.
get picked up on. But yeah, it's just gobsmacking when governments, go to these ends to get their own way. I mean, that's what it is, because there is a big sway of opinion that fracking, at the very least, should have a moratorium on it, and a large proportion of the people that would agree to that would actually not want it at all. And it is popping into the corporate media every now and again, but people that are saying no to fracking seem to be being portrayed the way they portray road protesters and animal rights saboteurs, animal rights people, and
tree huggers and conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's, hey, look, there's this new bunch of people and they're all against fracking. I don't think that they're quite getting their head round that actually, yeah, if you're against fracking, you're probably against the roads, you're probably against fox hunting, you're probably against all of it.
People.
Sorry?
It's not a new group of people at all. It's the same bloody people who are just concerned about the environment. The people that don't watch the television, do their research properly, and are concerned about the environment. It's the same group of people.
Well, I mean, not all the same. But,
majority.
But yeah, in the main, which kind of makes you think, oh, well, maybe there are fewer of us then than. But actually, it's going to be good going to this Earth First gathering in a couple of weeks, because it'd be good to chat to a whole bunch of people that do go out there and do stuff. Hopefully, we'll be able to hook up live from there and do that show. I think it's in 2 weeks, is it, or maybe 3 weeks' time.
Where is Earth First Gathering? Would you like to give it a little plug?
It's Crowhurst, which is East Sussex. I did have their webpage up. Let's see if I still do. It is Wednesday the 7th or Sunday the 11th of August. Nearest station is Bexhill. So that's rail station. It's a place for people involved in radical green direct action to come together to talk, share skills, learn, listen, play, etc., etc. And I was having a brief look at their workshops, and some of them, they're sounding like there's some really good ones. Resilience to repossession, sustaining resistance, empowering renewal, practical computer security, all sorts of things. Frack off are going to be there. Endgame principles. Oh, the list goes on and on. Even learn how to do Indian head massage. And tree climbing, of course. Food foraging.
Sounds like I'll be booking a ticket to that.
Sorry?
It sounds like I'll be booking a ticket to that.
I think it'd be well worth it. It's not like a regular gathering. The tickets are pretty much just the cost of camping and basic infrastructure. And everyone's expected to participate. So help out with the kitchen, with whatever needs doing, really. So yeah, everyone is a participant, and every as far as I am aware, everyone pays as well. Everyone, it doesn't matter what you're doing there, you still pay the £20 or £30, I think it is. So yeah, Yeah, it'd be good to have been there a couple of days and get a live show to you people from what looks to be quite an interesting little gathering. So you're going to try and be there as well, Chris?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I shall do my best.
Well, let's hope this weather carries on. You remember a couple of weeks ago I said to you that it was going to be at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And everyone was going, oh well, it's going to rain in a couple of days, and it has been 2 weeks, hasn't it?
Well, since then we've had headlines that it's going to last all summer.
Well, I was about to add that last weekend they were looking at the end of July. Now they're looking well into August. So yeah, it's been a long time since we've had a summer like this. It's not unusual. We have had them before.
It's funny. I've been looking at the state of the skies. Obviously, we're in a holidaymaker town, Bournemouth, and I've been looking at the state of the skies. And when we have a busy weekend where the beaches are full of tourists, we have totally clear skies. Then on the Sunday evening, the chemtrails start.
Right, Chris. It's come to the end, so if we're still broadcasting, have a good week, everyone. Hope it stays sunny for you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Finally, after all these years, what I have been telling the public about the healing abilities of these oils has all been proven to be true. Well, of course, I'm Rick Simpson, and this is the Dark City Radio Show. Dark City Radio Show. Dark City Radio Show. Dark City Radio Show. This is about the medicinal use of cannabis. Lately, we've been trying to get this thing going together in Spain, so people can come and get treatment, at the Compassion Club we helped form. Dark City Radio's Compassion Club we helped form. I had the pleasure of coming into contact with Paul Hayden and all the other great people he is working with at Dark City Radio. Compassion Club, we utilize this magnificent plant in every conceivable way. It will do much to promote peace and harmony among nations. Peace and harmony among nations. Being a new beginning for mankind. So I hope you will support our plan to build a better way of life that will give both mankind and this earth as we know it a future.